Okay, breaking them down. This is probably the most request breakdown that I've gotten here in the past month. These are always the tough breakdowns because Graterol, I think, like, no matter how he moves on a mound, like no matter what he does, his arm strength, his God-given ability, like of his arm, he's going to throw hard, right? Like that's kind of the that's the piece that I think not a lot of people like take into consideration sometimes, is that you just have a freaking lightning quick arm. And that's definitely something that Graterol possesses. But I want to showcase a couple other things that he does in his delivery, and then obviously with his body as well. So big thing to take consideration of is he's a big dude, and he does an incredible job of forward momentum and acceleration. If you don't know any part of what that means, head to my website. You can check it out in the description. There's an article that I put on there about momentum, instilling momentum going towards your desired target, and acceleration and increasing your acceleration rate. Now, the thing we have to take into consideration with Graterol is big dude, his acceleration rate is already going to be higher, right? And his force is going to be higher. And he is going to have a higher amount of stability that maybe a smaller frame guy not going to have. So now it's just about getting his body into positions in which he can just best leverage his arm into the slot. Okay, so I think Graterol, for him, the biggest goal is to get going. I've done stuff on like accelerators and drivers, even though I think he can probably get away with putting a lot of force into the ground and relying on that. I think he's best going to accelerate. Now we see this, I know this video is kind of cut off, but this is him before peak leg lift, and then let's get him before peak leg lift here. Okay, so pre-peak leg lift, he's going to be getting his body somewhat forward. Okay, so there it starts to go, and now his mission is to not defy that gravity and lose control of center mass. Okay, so when he goes down, you're going to see a little hip coil. Now this is actually going to load that hip. This is something I just talked about in a breakdown of actually myself. He's going to load that hip. He's going to do so. This is what I need to start incorporating by a little counter rotation of his trunk. Let's see if we can figure this out. Let's see if we can get this on this angle. Okay, so right there. Okay, so you see that his booty got turned and his trunk just a little counter rotation over the rear hip. So we see that really good right here. So now he can feel load, and now he's going to separate his hands, and now we're going to ride center. Okay. Now, even though it doesn't look like, just by based off angles, let's see if we can get that angle. I guess not. I suck with this thing. I know it doesn't look like based off angles of his drive leg posture that he's putting a ton of force into the ground, but you got to understand like the actual weight of the individual. Like that's already a lot of potential force added into his ability to, whoa, that's the wrong thing. Added in his ability to take his trunk a little bit counter rotated is going to even put more. Now his mission is to, as he rides down the slope, is to make sure that his hips are going to be sinking, that he somehow gets his trunk to accelerate and match his legs, and we want to see his trunk to stay neutral in that same plane. All right. So with his acceleration, we're looking at his hips, we're looking at his pelvis. How can he stay like kind of locked in with that pelvis? And can he get this force from his leg to be expressed a little bit more linear? Okay, here we go. Hips sinking, pelvis pelvis stays locked in. We're going to take note. Rotation into front foot strike. I got a breakdown on that. Be sure to check that out on the YouTube. Trunk matches hips. You see the drive leg start to go. Good equal opposite. And now, boom. So remember what I said earlier about now, if you're going to have this kind of little bit of shift and a little bit of coil as soon as you separate your hands to load your hip, you just got to make sure that when you're approaching that front foot strike, that you get that trunk going into your lead leg, meaning you get force into that lead leg, okay? So we're seeing that, right, as he rotates, back hip. See that snap? Gosh, I love that picture. That's going to snap, and then this foot is going to go, watch it. Wham, wham. So this is that unloading of like the pelvis, right? So neutral, 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 hold, 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 and then snap it into your front foot, essentially. Snap that force. Now as soon as you snap that, boom, you get that trunk to shoot over into the lead leg. So this is a good picture for us to see here. Rotation to front foot strike. Boom. At the same time of snapping, unloading the pelvis energy. Boom. Now this is a really good picture of posture. Hips into rotation. See where his trunk is? His arm's going to match that. I mean, you're creating a ton of rotational energy and a ton of stretch. Now we just got to make sure that all eyes on that lead leg, blocking, and we see that pretty well. We can talk about the trail leg hip flexion. Don't love that. I don't love the hip extension mechanics. But what are you going to do? I love the glove side. Stays connected to the body. And we have to talk about arm deceleration into plane of shoulder rotation. See there, bends his arm, buys his arm more time. Trunk is actually going to rotate more, which is going to buy him more time. And my thing with deceleration, man, is like, the better your deceleration is, the better your freaking acceleration is. You know what I mean? So like the arm's going to accelerate as fast as it can decelerate. It's going to accelerate as fast as you can brake. And if you're buying your arm time like Graterol does, and you're rotating that trunk like Graterol does, you're doing a lot of things right. Look how big those quads are. Okay, so biggest thing to take consideration of, what? To take note of. Graterol was born to throw hard. That's all there is to it. But hopefully you can maybe take something out of that. I love this. You're not in a good fielding position. You lose. All right. Yeah, that's what I got. Be sure to check out all the articles that I told you to check out if you want more information, more context. Congrats to the Dodgers on winning. I'm in the Bay Area, so I don't know if I can say that publicly, even though I just did. Okay, guys. Much love. God bless. Enjoy your day. Bye-bye.